Hello and welcome back to Rogue Trader. It is time for us to explore a little bit more of this estate. We've found out that things may not quite be as they seem here, so let's do a little bit more exploring. Now, where have we been? So we've been along this top path and we've been into this area here. I just want to make sure I'm doing an actual sweep of the area. Okay, so kind of head down here and then maybe head over this way to where I think our ship is and then down to that area. I don't know, we'll see. We got aristocrats, servants, or maybe we go the other way. What's a splendid estate. I've seen pics of our ancient manors in the House Orsilio archives. This place is very similar. Ah, okay. Cool.
Keep your wits about you.
We got another line, or is that it? Is it a single line? Is it banter, or is it just talking about things? It's a pity you were denied the chance to grow up in such surroundings. I can just picture a young lady navigator relaxing with a book in the garden after her lessons. Ah, just a little Abelard Cassia banter. Okay, you got some Yanis nobles. We have a name. Aha, Atius Quint. Hello, Atius. The stooped man wearing a cloak of the Adeptus Administratum is reviewing information on a data slate, while his quietly whirring mechanical arms fill a long scroll with writing. Upon noticing you, the man stretches his thin lips into a smile and deferentially bows, the light in the eyes of the servo skull hovering over his right shoulder gently pulsate. Your lordship, what an honour it is to address you in person. Allow me to introduce myself, Atius Quint, Prefectus of the Officio Agriculture. I will preserve the record of our conversation forever. Oh, I uncovered the servant who betrayed the governor. Here's the place you'll find his body? That's dogmatic. We'll hold on to that one. We might come back. Okay. What record of our conversation? Your lordship, I painstakingly record every conversation with high-ranking personages, and afterward I fill out all 7 accompanying forms personally. Atius rolls up his completed scroll in a practiced gesture, stows it away and pulls out a new one. Your words and judgments are in good hands. Atius's mechanical fingers fly over the scroll as he fills in another line. And of course, what great fortune it is to see, for the very first time in all my years of service, an emissary of the Navis Nobilite here on Janus. I humbly welcome the esteemed Cassia, Tsephia, Evriala, Lady Navigator of House Orsilio. Everything from her condescending gaze to confident bearing to her calm but commanding voice marks Cassia as the heiress of a great bloodline. Awestruck, the secretary writes down each letter of her name with particular fastidiousness. Laudable foresight. I thank you. Moments such as the appearance of a rogue trader must be preserved for posterity. I think we said last time we weren't going to rat him out, right? So I don't think we're going to rat out the servant who's dead. He was saying for his family, I think, that we weren't to tell the governor that it was him who did it. So let's not do that then. What do you think of Vat? The governor is a superb leader. She possesses an excellent grasp of all matters and never uses an incorrect form for a given situation. I do not pry into her personal affairs, but if I may speak plainly, a lady who fills out paperwork with such finesse cannot be a bad person in my view. What do you have to say about the governor's helper, Erlette, who's standing right behind me? Atius looks askance at Erlette and offers a strained smile. A highly exceptional individual. After today's regrettable event, I'm beginning to hold her talents in particular esteem. Verily, even mutants who have seen the light of the God Emperor can faithfully serve his flock. Moreover, Erlette's particular abilities could be an interesting subject for the study of the Magos Biologus, that elongated head shape, those eyes, judging by the skull that was given to me to send on to Footfall. Such developmental anomalies on Janus are not a quirk of nature, but some kind of inheritable trait. So if there's a skull which is the same, does that mean that there's an Eldar skull that you've got? Urlet freezes completely, turning into a living statue. What did you say? Oh, madam, have my words upset you? I'm certain your kinsman would be delighted to learn people wish to make pretty presse-papier out of his remains. And besides, I could be wrong about the nature of his origins. What skull are you talking about? A most remarkable item, I must say, a true anomaly. One moment. After rummaging in a nearby container, Atius draws out a parcel, which he immediately unwraps. Here it is. I believe the finished piece was intended to be given as a gift to the governor, but under current circumstances, I doubt I'll be able to send it to Footfall anytime soon. Urlet stares at the skull in silence. You can see her jaw working under her delicate skin. After a few seconds, she abruptly turns away. Pascal's mechadendrites reach towards Atius with interest, seeming to unnerve him a little. Adequately preserved. It is a pity that it is empty inside. It could have been a proper servo skull herald for the rogue trader. Unorthodox. Wait, by empty inside, you mean it didn't come with a brain? That's a very weird thing to say. Let's say, remove it from my sight. Oh, yes, of course, of course. Atius hurriedly returns the skull to the container. What are your duties here? By the grace of the God Emperor, I oversee the administrative apparatus on the planet and serve as secretary. I am also responsible for logistics relating to supplying the planets of the von Valancius dynasty and the timely payment of tithes to the Imperium's official collectors. Okay, speaking of the von Valancius dynasty, when were the last shipments sent? Oh, your lordship, our supply shipments are all in order. All foodstuffs and other items are ready for export, and are simply awaiting the arrival of the transport ships. However, given the current circumstances on the planet, Yanis could not provide even one tranche more than is already prepared. I'm certain the situation will be rectified in the near future. When did the collector ships last come to Yanis? Oh, your lordship, I must confess that as of yet I have not had the pleasure of filling out a sacred tithe protocol form, as the last Imperial ships to come here did so under my predecessor. Come to think of it, that would have been several decades ago. I do hope the logisticians responsible for such an unforgivable oversight lose their heads over this. So people haven't been to our planet which produces food for decades. That's crazy. The other planets must be in dire straits, right? If this is the main food supply and they haven't had a resupply for decades, that's crazy. That's enough. Tell me about Yanis. What's happening on the planet? Alas, your lordship, rebellions have caused us too many problems in recent times. The rebels are interfering with established processes, interrupting supplies, sabotaging the serfs' work. A few nobles have even been killed, and worst of all, some of the victims occupied important administrative posts. Until the replacements pass their checks, complete all their induction forms, and go through the official appointment procedure, important paperwork is going to go unsigned. It's a bureaucratic catastrophe. The absence of a required signature is, of course, the most horrifying thing about the situation. Indeed it is. Financial reports, logistics directives, waybills for food shipments. Without the signature of the most respected and now deceased head of House Zacharis, shipments to settlements in Aegis 24 have been stopped. The heirs are still dealing with the transfer of holdings, and all incoming reports tell us that a quarter of the workings in the affected settlements have already died of starvation, while most of those remaining have left the perimeter and have not yet returned to their designated places. Ah yes. How dare they leave their designated place when they're, dying. Yes. Well, I mean, shocking. Anyway, continue. If things continue in this vein, I dare not even imagine what it could lead to. There are worlds that are ravaged by war for generations. Generations, your lordship. Like the deranged planet by the nameless star, so close to our own peaceful system. The inhabitants there live under the patronage of rogue trader Winterscale. I shudder to think what he has created there. Ooh, a new planet. I wonder if we're going to get something about that. Like something, like a little note. I want to know the details. Where the rebels struck and how. Aha, we did get a note. Wonderful. Of course, of course. I'd be delighted to furnish you with all the information I have. In the last few months, 15 organised attacks and 7 terrorist attacks have been perpetrated. Irrigation equipment has been sabotaged in agrarian sectors 3 to 5, transport routes 27, 413, and also... I suppose this will not tell you much, please. With a fussy gesture, he presses several buttons on his data slate screen, and a 3-dimensional map with coordinates of the attacks appears on your cogitator. The data is superbly collated, and the map clearly displays the actions of the rebels. At first glance, it would seem to be no logic to their campaign, but after analysing the data and the features of the terrain, you notice a clear system indicating a geographical pattern to their attacks. Who is directing the rebels? Does anyone know? The rebels are well armed and well trained. What's more, the governor's advisors are inclined to think that the instigators of the rebellions are very familiar with the planet's terrain and climate. My ordinates are going through registration records day and night looking for individuals who have completed military training, but we have so far been unable to identify the scoundrel. Well, what if it's an Eldar? They would have military training, but they would not be underneath the records, right? It's a thought. What are you doing to combat the rebels? Our security services are tracking those who support the rebels, and our regular wardens are wiping out these saboteurs with the slightest mercy, but they keep on appearing. My scribes have been run off their feet, keeping records of all the public hearings and executions, but I am confident the governor will find a solution soon. Alright, well that's enough for now. What do you know about the attack on the estate? A disgraceful incident, simply disgraceful. I cannot believe these scoundrels would dare come so close. And to drag the nobility into this as well. If they penetrated the estate, that means they had help from some worthless servant or other. Security is currently questioning the survivors, but the culprit has not been found. Yet. Atius Quint smiles unpleasantly. I must take my leave. I look forward to meeting you again, your lordship. Alright. Well, that was a lot of information. I'm most interested in the thing that wasn't about this planet, though. The other planet, which is currently starving under winter scale. Potentially, there might be a way of us doing something about that planet, gain some influence, you would think, right? If he's not feeding them, and we're about to get a planet full of food. Anyway. A decorative spire hastily turned into a watchtower is a sure sign of a turbulent situation on the Agra world. Obey your orders, do your duty, is what the sign says. Okay, I think we saw that somewhere else as well. Oh, a commerce check.
I always have a backup plan.
Well, I mean, we don't have Jay with us, but let's try it.
I didn't?
The fountain is an expensive toy for the nobility. Pure water is currently bubbling from it. Additional pipes on it indicate the presence of separate siphons for sparkling wine and other beverages. Did you see the mutant wipe out that target? Our guys near the governor stood there catching flies, she'd already blown his brains out. More nobles, more servitors. What's this?
Let us not dawdle.
The chapel is built out of luxurious materials, but the holy place looks half abandoned. You cannot smell any burnt incense in the air. You see no seals of cleansing on the doors. You hear no prayers, no human voices or vox recordings. So nobody is going to the church. That's interesting, isn't it? Or the chapel. Now, if I had to guess why people didn't go to the chapel,
rise to the top.
Well,
or get left
if
in
they
the
were
dust.
heretics,
Keep
then
a sharp eye.
Oh, there's stuff in here. If they were heretics, then potentially that could explain why they didn't go to the chapel, couldn't it? There's a Medicaid check
Keep
over
your
here.
wits about you.
What kind of Medicaid check are we getting? Okay.
None are better at searching.
Oh, and goods. I'll have the goods. Chartist Pendant. The wearer gains +5 fellowship and +10 commerce. If the wearer has dogmatic adherent or above, their lore Imperium will depend on fellowship instead of intelligence. The wearer also gains 10 lore Imperium. Okay, that would seem like a you thing, maybe? I guess for now it's a you thing. It could be a J thing. What's your... Are you dogmatic? I think you're neutral, right? No, you're dogmatic. Perfect. And you're adherent. You're an adherent. Yes, this is actually designed for you then. Okay, this is a Cassia thing. So this is going to push her lower Imperium up significantly. Yeah, so it now goes to a 91, which I think makes it the highest. It's one higher than ours, so yeah, cool. Alright. Medicae check. Let's go.
Error. Making adjustments.
Chains or ropes of shackles on the end can be seen in the water. Okay, so I don't think it was particularly important, but I think that they kill people here. As in, I think that this is a way that they deal with
Is there money to be made?
with criminals. They potentially just chain them into the sea and just leave them there. Yeah, that's not ideal. Lady Anuris's estate will be liquidated any day now. I've got my eye on that far-flung country manor of theirs. Interesting. Okay, so this is the last area, I think. Do you think Lady Vat will keep the choicest morsels for herself? Oh, so maybe she is doing these rebellions, sneakily getting rid of other, like, other groups, like other noble houses, and then she's taking them for herself? Or for herself? That could work. So runs the rebellion in kind of like a, is it a false flag thing? I guess it's not really, well, yeah, I guess it could be described as that. Pay no mind to the bodies? No, I want my loot. Dried berries. Oh, okay. Don't really know what we're getting from that. These are marks of corruption, not decay or disease, but how? Oh, that's what Urlet is saying. Interesting. Oh, the deceased's arms and face are covered in small boils that ooze cloudy pus even after death. So that's what she's saying. These are signs of corruption. Oh, some goods. We'll grab these. Okay. Anything down here?
Keep my options open.
No. Okay, well, we'll leave that for a second, although I think that's one of our next places. Lore Imperium? Let's go.
My house would be proud of me.
Sealed containers marked with the familiar insights of the Munitiatorum and additional seals of the Forge World unknown to you. Crates contain high-grade weapons likely made to order. Okay, so we got a hotshot lasgun. Huh. Interesting.
Rise to the top.
I don't think we have anyone using just normal lasguns right now. Okay, and then we got down here as well. What's this? Most effective representatives of local flora are assembled in the flower bed. Unfamiliar fruits are ripening on the carefully pruned plants. Oh, faster, faster. The sooner we smoke out this louse, the sooner we can report that the clearance operation is complete. A hulking man dressed in a uniform marking him out as an officer of the Gubernatural Wardens is closely monitoring his subordinates as they surround the building. Sensing your approach, he whips around, his face going pale, and he offers a low bow. Oh, watch where you're pointing those hoses. The last thing we need is poisonous gas cloud in the air over the estate, is what he said at the top there. Your lordship, please do not stray too close to the building. One of the terrorists from today's attack has holed himself up in there. He could be dangerous. Who are you? I am the Madam Governor's security officer. I regret you had to witness today's incident, your lordship. I assure you nothing of the sort will ever happen again. What's going on here? Ready to report, your lordship. We conducted a sweep of the area after the attack. All of the assassins were arrested or neutralized except for one. The officer scowls darkly. He's sealed himself inside. He's already injured 2 wardens who tried to reach him, but there's no need to worry. We'll poison him and clear the last dregs of dirt from the estate. I have only one question, officer. Why have you not already done it? The rogue trader is here. The longer you delay, the more you put his life needlessly at risk. The officer flinches slightly at Abelard's snarl. It is inexcusable, your lordship. The barrels of poison were only just delivered, but we're ready to begin now. You want to poison the rebel? The officer nods. We're using insecticide from our stockpiles, your lordship. We don't have any military-grade poisons, but we don't need them, not for this parasite. Who is he? The officer's brow furrows. To tell the truth, your lordship, I'm more concerned with clearing the area right now than with his identity. We're not expecting any valuable intel from him, unless we find something on his corpse after we've done the job. What's so special about this building? It's one of the utility buildings. Fortunately, it was empty at the time of the attack. There were no potential hostages or innocent people inside. If you ask me, I think that this was the first place the killer came to when he was beating his retreat. Managed to round up all the others, but this one holed himself up in there. This is not an empty utility building, but an inactive backup crypt for storing refrigerant and freezing equipment. This is obvious. Your ignorance is depressing, servant. Sorry. I want to talk to the person inside. Are you sure? It's not exactly safe, your lordship. The officer's eyes involuntarily sweep over you, sizing you up. Well, you dare question me, out of my way. We're going to assert some authority here. The officer seems to remember himself and offers another low bow. Oh, forgive me, your lordship. Act as you see fit. At the officer's signal, the other wardens take a deferential step back, clearing your path to the door. Okay. It's fine. Does kind of explain why they didn't find the rebels, if their plan is, we've got one rebel left. Let's poison the entire building and not speak to him. When you approach the solid-looking door, a high boyish voice shouts out, "Piss off, you won't take me alive. Better put a bullet in my brain than let the governor's dogs get their hands on me." Okay, we got a lot of options. Let's start with examine the door. The door looks solid and formidable, but you notice dark marks on the hinges, a sure sign that the material is degraded. The lock doesn't look new either. With a suitable tool, it could be opened. We have some options here, some different options, none of which are high. Okay, I'm gonna try the talking option. I am Malachi, rogue trader and sovereign of this planet. In the name of the Emperor, open this door. Do you think I'm an idiot? Take your lies and choke on them, you and your damn mistress. Alright, Pascal, pick the lock. Takes you half a minute to figure out the archaic mechanism. With a soft click, the door opens, allowing you to enter. Inside is poorly lit, but you spot a person standing in the far corner. He is desperately gripping a discharged lasgun in his hands. At the sight of you, his eyes widen in recognition and fear. It can't be. The rogue trader! The young man, practically a boy, falls to his knees and stretches out his bloody hands towards you. His clothes are burned on one side and grimy with baked-in blood. Your lordship, have mercy. You are the sovereign of this planet. Only you have the power to save us. Save you from what? From Governor Vat. Everyone knows what she's doing to us. We've put up with it for a long time, hoping that somebody would intervene and help us, but nobody ever did. She's turned the whole world into a slaughterhouse. People are rounded up like rocks from the settlements, supposedly to go to the palace, and they're never seen again. Her servants pour something over the fields, and people lose their minds. They start hearing voices and seeing evil spirits, and while we're dying, she's sitting behind her white walls and feasting on our bones. Roulette's face twists. Sacrifices, madness, pain, and death. Even in so primitive a society as this, such rites seem senseless, not worthy of such efforts. What is this? A random quirk of nature? Or something darker? I was taught that peasants have a tendency to exaggerate their suffering due to sloth and weakness of spirit. But this young man, vermilion thorns pierce every centimetre of his body, and grey shackles bind his hands, feet and neck. There are no lies in his words, only terror and desperation without end. You're telling me people are seeing evil spirits? Yes, others are going feral and attacking their loved ones, and then there's... The boy lowers his voice. People say that in the settlements, well, they've stopped upholding the law altogether. Imperial law and the law of basic human decency. People are turning into animals. Who's behind the rebels? He swallows nervously and looks at your fear. Your lordship, I beg you, don't ask me that. I can't sell out my brethren. It's over for me, but the others, I won't betray them. Alright. Let's try a little persuasion here, I think. There'll be no end to the war on this planet until I get a handle on the situation, but to do that I need to meet your leader. The boy hesitates for a few seconds and his head drops limply. As long as you keep your word. I've never been to their camp, none of us have. Only the chief saw one person from their base. He came a few times, bringing weapons and orders. He represents a greater force than we could imagine, and he said that the governor's dogs will pay for the reprisals in the settlements. That's not where they're in. They keep their distance from ordinary folk. We have it all worked out, so if anyone gets caught, the others aren't caught with them. But I swiped the chief's Vox. I thought, after I killed the governor, I could use the message coordinates to find the base and hide out there. The boy retrieves a Vox from his pocket and holds it out to you with a shaking hand. That's all I know, your lordship. Okay. We got some options here. I don't think I'm going to kill him. I'm going to say, get up and come with me. I give you my word as a rogue trader, you will live. The rebel looks at you in bewilderment, then bows low before you. When he speaks, his voice trembles. Your lordship, thank you. Thank you for this kindness. I never thought I'd survive this. Ooh, okay. The officer of the wardens casts a disdainful look over the rebel, before turning his gaze to you. Your lordship, I honor your bravery. Please allow me to get rid of this rat for you. Okay, so we can say he deserves a free trial. Escort him to the perimeter of the state. He's free to go. And will serve Yanis yet. Consult your advisors and see to it the rebel is made into a useful servitor. That's malicious compliance. Make an example of this scum. Flay him and publicly string up his corpse outside his family home as a warning. If anyone tries to remove it, shoot them. So I'm guessing that's heretical because we gave him our word and then we're immediately like, nope. I'm going to go dogmatic. This man is now under my protection. See to it that he's held safely in custody until his fate is decided by a fair trial. Because that's what we agreed that we would let him live. We didn't agree that he wasn't going to, you know, have to face something. Now, obviously, it's not iconoclast, so we're not following that, but it seems a little bit hard. Like, it seems a little bit reckless to just let him go, right? Like, just be like, nah, you go. I believe you. He did still try and attack us, right, as part of the group. It's not like he's completely blameless. He had reasons for doing it, but, you know, that's the kind of thing a trial would sort out. So yes, this man is now under my protection. See to it that he's held safely in custody until his fate is decided by a fair trial. A dumbfounded expression appears on the officer's face. With the deepest respect, your lordship. The officer thinks better of his next words and abruptly bows. It will be done. Thank you, your lordship. Without your patronage, I would already be dead. Okay, we'll see if that comes back later. Anything in this room? Nope, we got some goods. Well, actually, I said nope, and then immediately went, but we got this stuff. Okay, cool. This device gives the wielder 15 to carouse. Wait, is that says it can be equipped. But how? What slot does that go? It goes in these slots. Oh. I don't have more stuff that can go in these slots, do I? Maybe. Is carouse your thing? No, carouse is your thing. Yeah. Let's give him that so he gets a bonus to carouse. He gets 115 in there. Oh, this Medicaid one I should have had equipped all the time as well. Yeah. There we go. I actually have more of these. Wait, I have more of these. Reduces wounds by 10%, yet increases critical hit chance. Oh. I mean, it's by toughness, so this is not ideal, but, like, honestly, this seems like the kind of thing that you should have on. Like, I mean, how much is it? It's 3 times toughness bonus percent, so it's, yeah, 6% extra critical hit chance. Okay, and then this thing? Bonus to awareness. Alright. Turns out that we can actually equip the things that we get. It's crazy. Right. And then over here we got some goods. Wonderful. And then I think we have explored the entirety of the estate. And our next step is speak to the governor again or go on to the voidship. So I think I want to speak to the governor again. Let's work our way towards the governor.
Keep your wits about you.
And we'll see how this goes. Do a little save. And head forward and into the mansion. Okay. Almost there. And yeah, I don't know what we're going to say to her, but we definitely need to speak with her about some of the allegations.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
If she is eating people, then that's definitely, like, one. But, like, the other allegations are pretty bad as well. I want my entourage to accompany me. I don't see why I wouldn't. My entourage all kind of seem like the people who should be accompanying me on these types of things. Well, in general. A lot of them are. Let's see where we're going to start here. Well, The tech priest mentioned ancient ruins belong to the Xenos. I know to what you are referring. Strange structures of an unknown material. For the prevention of any unfortunate accidents, I ordered the area to be declared out of bounds for all. Some things are better left under a thick layer of dirt, beyond the grasp of even the enlightened minds of the Adeptus Mechanicus. You neglected to mention strange changes in the planet's flora and fauna. Magos Vinzelix is a very wise man, but his fixation on evolutionary processes seems a little extreme to me. Janus was heavily cultivated, forests were cleared, and mountains raised across half the planet. It's no surprise we are still noticing the consequences of these changes. It is possible the plant mutations are connected to waste runoff from the harvesting equipment, and the changes in wildlife behavior could be a reaction to the expansion of the cultivated area. Vistenza shakes her head with a laugh. Are you surprised by my knowledge on the subject? Our whole dynasty has dedicated itself to taming Janus and this plentiful yet stubborn planet. Every member of the Vat bloodline is versed in the fundamentals of planetary engineering and its consequences. Rumors have reached me about oddities among Janus' population. I don't deny it. Some of our experiments exact a higher toll on the population than others. You see, recently one of the noble families of Janus has taken on the difficult task of enhancing the attributes of our workers. So far, this has involved introducing experimental supplements to their food and mental conditioning in monitored settlements. Sometimes procedures are disrupted and part of the population suffers from side effects. The specialists of the Gravas family would be better placed to inform you on this topic, but alas, they are currently engaged in the field. You're forcing settlements to pay their tithes in human bodies? What really, Malachi? You speak as if you actually believe the claims of those wretched peasants. I do not ask anyone to pay tithes in human bodies. I am reducing the burden on the settlements which have suffered as a result of unsuccessful experiments involving enriched food, and I'm gathering the worst affected subjects who are no longer capable of work for further study. Some among my circle would call such concern for the underclass a weakness that may have incited rebellion among the emboldened rabble. Cassia nods in understanding. Theobald and Felic tried to limit the effect my powers had on the lowborn servants of Uric 5. The station's laboratoriums ran experiments on those who had misfortune of losing their minds because of my gift. These tests increased our servants' lifespan, and then they joined Felic's side. Interesting. Okay, we'll leave. She had answers to the questions. You cannot deny that she had answers to the questions. Now, do I believe any of them? I don't know. They were good answers, but I'm kind of like, do we think that this is a two sides of the coin kind of situation? Or is this one side of the coin is right and the other side is just evil? That's what we need to see. Anyway, I'm going to end the episode there. Thank you very much for watching. Next time, we're going to head to our void ship and, I guess, go and examine the affected areas directly. So, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.